I continue to feel that that's a fantastic tone wood, maybe the best. The problem is getting wider widths, and in fact, with all these logs that Martin was getting, there was an occasion where they dumped a truckload of logs, and one of them had the butt end near the roots that flared out into quite a wide piece, and we were able to get a number of sets. That's what I used for my first Honduras rosewood guitar. And Honduras rosewood is now a little more available. I mean, it still would be considered very exotic and rare, but some availability in the marketplace.
So, obviously, you worked for Martin for years. You're a builder. You're also an artist. You also are an author. And
I get bored really easily. I like to jump around, and I always felt that, and you know this, that creativity is really one's approach to taking on a task. You commit to the task, do the preparations, get into the meat of the project, bring the project to fruition, and then move on to the next project. And it really, it's almost like the scientific method, but that's what I enjoy. I enjoy that process. I don't like repeating the same thing over and over again. I've never been in production, but I do like jumping around. I've dabbled in jewelry making. I certainly love illustration, and love woodworking and guitar making. Some of these things can become very tedious, and so maybe after building a guitar, I will go to working on a drawing, and then maybe write some chapters.
However, you've been a building machine lately.
Well,
you're doing 3, 4 at a time, right?
Well, only because it's a little more efficient to do it that way. I think maybe it's more fun to do one at a time. It can start to feel like production, and I like I said, I don't gravitate towards that. But I do have 3 guitars going right now, and I have one in lacquering that I'm really waiting to get back. It's the one that was made out of Pernambuco, which is the wood that's prized for violin bows. It's not usually available for guitar sets, and I had a beautiful set of Pernambuco. You know, when you have these tone woods, you can tap them. I'm not a big proponent of tapping, but it is true that tone woods are called that for a reason. They have a resonance and a ring that reveals itself through tapping and feeling the wood.
So Dick has an Instagram page and different social media website where you can follow him, and a lot of times he posts his videos of guitar building, and
mostly on Facebook.
Mostly on Facebook.
Yep.
So if folks want to learn a little bit more about your work, where can they find you?
Well, the historic work I've tried to archive on my website, which is dickboak.com. That's really hard to remember, but it's dickboak.com. And then on my Facebook page, which is easy to find, I try to post, progress reports on different things that I'm working on. I have a little video set up in my basement that I can aim it down at the workbench and occasionally do not instructional things, but I try to keep it interesting, and I think the instrument making community appreciates it. There's so many great makers out there. I bristle a little bit at the term master. I consider myself kind of a lowly apprentice, and that I'll always be there, but I do derive great joy from working with wood and from being able to put together instruments. I've had also the luxury of having really great materials to work with. So The materials deserve a certain level of commitment and craftsmanship, and I'm trying to do that.
So Albert Hall has always had a history with country music, with bluegrass music, music in general, but our mission is kind of coincides with you guys, is preserve the history for future generations, whether it be woodworking and guitar building, or whether it be what we do, preserving the music, history, culture, folklore, and people of the pines. So if folks out there in TV land would like to come down to Martin Guitar, they can, is it martinguitar.com?
I think that's right.
They can see this history, or you can go to Dick Boak's site and find out the history he's preserving, and maybe one day we can have you come down and talk, or...
I told you that at one point I drove for like 2.5 hours and went to the completely wrong place and realized I was hours away from where you were, so I do want to come down.
And maybe we can have you come down and talk a little bit or something.
Well, you've been a fabulous friend to Martin and to me.
Same.
And I sure appreciate it.
Same. Thank you.